Well, hello to everybody out there in this great big world of social media. Yes, this is your brother Dana coming to you again today from the city of Chicago. Shalom to all of my Hebrew family members that are out there. Shalom to you. I'm here. I was doing some work, and of course, there's all these 4th of July advertisements, sales, and then living here in the inner city, there's lots of firecrackers and bottle rockets going off. So it made me start thinking, Father, is the 4th of July actually the celebration of wickedness and evil? And our Christianity all these years have pointed to their finger at all these different religions or nations or groups of people and called out their wickedness. And then in the same time, proudly, arrogantly walk like we are righteous. And so, is celebrating the 4th of July actually a celebration of wickedness? So let me start with this little kind of premise real quickly. To you, my white evangelical family members that say that this nation was rooted on the foundation and the principles of Christianity and the Bible that you have declared so valuable to you. And as you've declared how great of a people you are, in that you've also proclaimed how uncivil, how wild, uneducated, ungodly, and even to a degree wicked, all these other groups of people that we have invaded or conquered to then colonize, to then put in this great religion of Christianity in their minds and their spirits, their souls. We've claimed that again is a sign of our greatness because God Himself, as you taught me, entrusted the precious gospel of Jesus Christ, the light of the world, into the hands of the white Christian American church. And count it a blessing, and that's why this nation is so blessed, because we have sacrificed and sent out our missionaries and to places where no man has gone before, to even put our life at risk to take the gospel to the savages, the aborigines, the indigenous, the Africans, to civilize them. And so all these years you have taught me as a white man that we are a nation and a group of people that God's favor is upon us because of our goodness and proven that we are the ones that have brought the goodness of the light of the gospel of this Jesus Christ in Christianity. But as my eyes have been opened, Isaiah 5:20 says, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for the light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." So then I began to examine what all took place even prior to the birth of our nation on July 4th, 1776. And I judged the behavior of you, my white forefathers, based off of who you have taught me who you were, that again, we were the civilized people sent by God to not only colonize them so they can live civil as we do, but then to also bring them this great light of the gospel of white Jesus Christ in the religion of Christianity. But when I have now been awoken, as I said, and truly look at the reality of the history of my forefathers, you were evil and wicked. And it is woe to you that has turned your wicked history into one that seems good. And at the same time, you have taught me that the African nations, where Australia now is, the Aborigines, the Native American Indians, and those that lived here prior to our invasion, were all wicked and ungodly and uncivil. Then you have turned our dark history as if we are the light. That we were actually the ones that were given the light of this gospel of Jesus Christ and the religion of Christianity as the light of the world, when in all reality it is the darkness of all the world. It is that which has infiltrated all the nations and has corrupted them. Because this white Christianity and this white Jesus Christ is not the light of the world, but it is the evil and the darkness of the world. And you taught me to believe that the witch doctors in these African, Haitian, and the Mother Earth that they worshiped through the indigenous that lived here prior to our invasion were the ones that actually were the satanic believers of all these other gods. Woe to you. And then you claimed that we are the sweetness that the world needs. The sweetness of democracy and the sweetness of true freedom and the sweetness of liberty and justice for all. When in all truth, you are just the opposite. But you are the bitterness of injustice. You are the root of corruption. And all these years you taught me it was those other individuals, nations and groups of people and colored skins, different and darker than mine, that were the enemy, the wild, the uncivilized, the ungodly, the bitter, the dark. But in all reality, when I look at our history, and so celebrating the birth of this incredible nation, is it celebrating of wickedness and evil? And see, you have then put your men and women that have laid their life down, you have focused on their life that fought to keep this nation alive. And that's a camouflage that has also been set up so that you are unwilling to look at the wickedness and the evil. That yes, us that fought and died may have been very innocent to a degree of the wickedness of the history of this country, but nonetheless, We cannot be upset because you also teach in the goodness of this gospel that you will reap what you sow. And so we've come to give you this righteousness of a white Jesus Christ so you can sow what we have sown and reap, which is civilization and justice and strength and purity and godliness. When again, we know that that is nothing but a front. And so the innocent lives of your sons and daughters and fathers and mothers have been lost because there is also a consequence that has remained, because when our fathers live and conquered by the gun, the word says that if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. The only thing that has not yet happened is the mass consequence of the lies and the unwillingness of my white forefathers to my white present family members. That unless you recognize and embrace and acknowledge and repent and walk away and stop celebrating the wickedness of this nation, of white supremacy, and the religion of white Christianity, you are celebrating wickedness. Therefore, I have decided that I will not celebrate, because I will celebrate righteousness and justice and purity and holiness. And what the 4th of July stands for none of that, but actually the opposite.